Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackomberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wise Kracks. I've been up all night playing poker, but that still didn't stop me from showing up today and bringing, of course, the man of the hour, Mr. Bill Krackomberger, with me. What's going on, Bill? Yes, you heard that right. I've been up all night playing poker.
Yeah, what kind of poker? Like online or? No,
I played in a tournament, like the evening tournament. It starts at 6 o'clock at the Venetian.
Venetian, okay.
Yeah, and I was chip leader pretty much, at my table throughout. Every table I ended up on, I was chip leader, and it got down. It was not a huge tournament. 88 people entered, and I went from chip leader to 0 and went out in 13th. 11th. I went out in 11th, and they paid.
My buddy at the Venetian, you could see here last week, he actually won that. He sent me a picture of himself. Yeah. So, and he's in this one too, Paul Gunnis. So good luck to him. Good poker player, up and coming star in the poker world. So did you get knocked out or are you still in?
No, I got knocked out. I'm done. Yeah. Done.
Couple hours you can't get back of your life.
I know. It's so annoying. It's so aggravating. Yeah.
What was the conditions like, John? Was it pretty safe and under the plexiglass and on
safe
both
isn't the word. You're surrounded by plexiglass. It's almost like being in the bank. You're surrounded by plexiglass. Everyone's got the mask on. You can't hear any of the bets. There's no social aspect to the game. I mean, it's still fun because it's poker, but it's definitely a different game. But
tough way to make an easy living.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're someone like our previous guest, poker star Phil Hellmuth.
Yeah,
then it's guys just want to play with you and give you tens of thousands of dollars for your time.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you want to tease next week's guest?
Ooh, sounds like we got a big one. Someone on Hellmuth's level, right?
He's definitely on Hellmuth's level. Some would argue, I don't want to say it, but past Phil.
Oh my God!
Matter of fact,
don't let Phil hear that.
Well, yes. Well, here's the thing: we're going to get to know at the end of this month because they're going to battle heads up. And I speak of the great Daniel Negreanu is going to join us next week.
Right. Good guy. Good deal.
Looking forward to it. But Bill, let's talk about this week because we've got a big show today. The NCAA tournament buzz is in the air, and today's show is pretty exciting because we've got an incredible guest, the Sultan of Sports Trivia, who spent over 20 years at ESPN, star of ESPN's Stump the Schwab, friend of yours, no doubt.
Yes, good guy. Howie Schwab, one of the geniuses behind the original ESPN when they had just like Sports Center. He was behind the scenes for years, giving information to like Berman and these guys in their ear and looking for all the history of the stats and everything else going back. He is a genius in that area. So much so they gave him his own show, Stump the Schwab. So I'm happy to have Howie, and he's a good friend. I talk to him just about every week. He's down at Dick Vitale's house right now. Vitale's getting ready to go on. ESPN's actually setting up in his house to have him on starting Friday. So that's going to be fun. Howie will be there. They wrote a book together, and look forward to him seeing him on this weekend, and look forward to seeing Howie Schwab today. And we got some good questions for him too. And look forward to it.
I've never asked you this. When did you meet all of these guys that so many of these heavy hitters in the sports world and stuff? Did you meet them early on as you were like the new guy, coming up, or at what point did you?
Howie, I met at my friend Teddy Atlas's charity dinner. He actually bid on one of the auctions that I had up, and I got to be friends with him, and it just took it from there. we're gonna probably reach out to a couple of those guys. I have a couple of those guys' numbers. Michael Moore, heavyweight champion of the world,
Sure,
beat Evander Holyfield and then lost the last round. When Teddy was telling him, just stay away from Big George Foreman. And even though he was ahead on all scorecards, Big George pulled off the miracle of miracles and won the heavyweight championship for the second time miraculously. And he's a great guy too, Big George. Yeah. But we'll have Michael Moore on the show also.
That would be amazing. And, now that you just brought up boxing, it would be wrong of me not to mention the passing of marvelous Marvin Hagler. I don't know if obviously boxing legend, way too young. I want to say 66.
Yeah.
Really tragic to lose
Shame.
such a
good
legend.
guy. I got to see him up at the Boxing Hall of Fame two years ago. It was really, it's really a shame that this happened to this man. It was good guy, one of the toughest fighters. Oh man, something like that. The Hagler Hearns fight,
best fight ever, right? And certainly the best round ever, round one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even Hagler Leonard. He fought some of the toughest guys back then. That was really the probably the pinnacle of. For me, it was like I was only a kid, 10 years old, 12 years old. But Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, Duran. Oh God, what a division.
Those were classic fights. I don't feel like boxing's the same compared to that era, right? Is that just me being old?
Never. Or it probably wasn't. Going back another 30, 40 years, maybe Sugar Ray. When I say Sugar Ray, I mean Sugar Ray Robinson, of course.
Sure.
But going back then, and that early career of boxing was unbelievable. These guys would fight. Let's just be blunt. They used to fight. They used to fight. I mean, until someone knocked each other out. I mean, back in the early 1900s, 1800s. But back in the early 1900s, they would fight. Even up into the 50s, 60s, they would fight every week. This was now they fight twice a year. So that just goes to show you what tough guys they were back then compared to fighters of today.
Yeah, and speaking of fighting, little UFC card last week. I don't know if you saw what happened last week. It was kind of two just freak occurrences on the same card. I had a a four-leg parlay.
Of course you did.
And yeah, of course I did. And Bill, I feel like I went 4 for 4, but I didn't get paid for it. Let me tell you what happened. My buddy Eric Anders kicked off my first leg, and he was clearly winning the fight. He hit his opponent. I want to say, I don't quote me, 15, maybe 20 unanswered times. I'm screaming at the TV for the ref to stop the fight. Like, the fight's over. I mean, and then somehow Eric accidentally kneed his opponent while his opponent was down. The rule is if you have one knee down or a hand touching the canvas, you are considered down, and you can punch them in the head, but you cannot kick or knee them in the head. And this guy clearly had two knees down, and Eric just, I think your adrenaline just kicks in. You're in a fight, and you're just not thinking clearly. And he ended up kneeing the guy, and the guy couldn't continue. And so it goes down as a no contest. It's not a DQ loss. It goes down as just a no contest. So
who wins the fight? If you bet money on the fight, who wins?
Nobody. It just comes off the ticket. You just get.
Wow.
You get.
So if you bet, it's literally like a draw.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
I figured the guy that kneed him, he loses because he broke the rule.
If it's intentional, if they rule that it was an intentional knee, then yes. Then it's a DQ, and the other guy ends up winning, which is how Aljamain Sterling actually won the belt
the week before, right?
Prior, right? Yeah. It was ruled an intentional knee. So in this case, it was ruled accidental. So it just comes off the ticket. So now I'm down to 3 fights. I get I get 2 of them right. And then in the main event, same kind of thing. Edwards versus Muhammad. Edwards wins round 1 pretty convincingly. Round 2, Muhammad's kind of a slow starter, and he's a grinder. It's a 5-round fight, so no big deal. They're going back and forth, and Edwards ends up throwing a kind of a kick and a punch at the same time, and he pokes Muhammad in the eye really bad, and he couldn't continue. And same thing, that was ruled accidental. So that fight comes off. So two no contests on the same card. I can't remember any time I've ever seen that. And what are the odds? I had a 4-leg parlay, and I also had the two fights that both ended up in a no contest. I had in a 2-leg parlay. So I had just just a refund, money back on a parlay. It's crazy.
Oh man. That's crazy. And it's the reason why I don't know if I could bet any serious money. Though I did. I lost a lot of money last month on a fight. But all these other things that you're saying, and an accidental knee, now I have to go to the judges and see if it was accidental, go to the tape, poke in the eye, was it done? I mean, it's a tough sport. I'll never get it. Yeah,
you prefer the sports that have a clear-cut winner, right? Who scored more when the clock wound down to 0?
Correct.
Much easier. Absolutely. Yeah. So in the NFL, there's been some interesting things happen. First of all, Drew Brees retired.
Yes, it was cute. His kids announced it. Did you see that little tweet or video? His kids announced that Dad's retiring. It was cute.
And I don't know.
And listen, good guy too. I know there's some controversy, towards the end of his career here, but this guy's a guy that donated a lot of money, helped out New Orleans. City of New Orleans, gave millions of dollars away, raised millions of other dollars. Good guy.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, or if you know, but Drew Brees doesn't exactly have a full head of hair. He's kind of been pretty much not bald, but pretty much. And have you seen the new pictures of him? He went and got a hair transplant.
Oh wow!
So cool. Speculation is he's going to go into the broadcast booth. Yeah, but I bring this up, Bill, because I don't even know if you know this. Tomorrow, I'm going in to get a hair transplant.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you even need one? I didn't think you really needed one.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of bald on top. I sprinkle this Topic powder on top of my head to fill it in, and I'm going over to Las Vegas.
But you're engaged, like you got a girl. Why? What's the purpose of doing this?
To keep her.
Oh
no, she's not like that. She doesn't care, but it just
just something that you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good. See what happens.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Contend to do, contend to do. It's right. Like, you're happy, I'm happy.
Exactly. I like that. What does that say it again?
Italian. Are you a Godfather fan? So
yeah.
It's been in a couple of movies. Contend to do, contend to do. Yeah.
I like that. All right. And the Cowboys backup quarterback has found a new home with the Bears. Andy Dalton somehow signed for a $10 million 1-year deal with the Bears after the Bears were unsuccessful in trying to get Russell Wilson. $10 million.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's unbelievable the money that these teams throw around to these guys that were listen, he was good with Cincinnati. I guess.
Yeah.
He's a backup a couple teams. I don't know. He got to be a starter there for a while. So again, and we'll see what happens.
Hats
if they're
off
happy, I'm happy again.
Hats off to anyone.
I don't know how happy the Bears fans are though. But
what I saw online, not too happy. I saw my buddy Chet Lemon. You remember the baseball player Chet Lemon?
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm friends with his son.
That's back in my time.
Okay, so I'm friends with his son, Chet Lemon Jr.
Oh wow!
And he posted something like, the Bears have one of the most prestigious long-running franchises. Why can't they ever sign a good quarterback? And it's pretty.
Chet Lemon was from 1980, like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember Chet for sure.
Yeah,
it was a big name.
Yeah, his son does a lot of work for ESPN, crewing, in charge of crewing the camera guys and stuff like that. So yeah. But and so the tournament is upon us. Does this excite you? It must. This means money for you, Crack.
Before we get into that, there's a couple other things here.
Oh,
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick signed with the Skins. He was happy. He was on Twitter screaming and yelling. Yep. And we don't know who the Saints are going to start here, Winston or Hill. So that'll be interesting too. Some interesting things now with Brees retiring. So just a couple little things just words of wisdom to the Saints fans out there. You guys will be okay. I think they still have a team and some good future. So
I think they're better off. They're in better shape than the Patriots without Brady.
Gotcha. Yeah. Imagine and didn't Brady just signed a couple more years, right?
Yeah, he did.
They signed Gronk for I think a year. I think I read.
Yeah.
So a couple. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Even though one of the most successful, if not the most successful, and I think Lombardi was probably the best, but Belichick. I hated Belichick. I hated him. I hated those New England teams. I hate that they had to cheat with a camera looking at the the Jets play calls. And there was a couple other controversial things that's happened with them over the years. And I'm an underdog guy, so I always rooted against them. So I kind of think it's funny, and I'd love to know what Belichick really thinks about getting rid of Brady and then winning the next year with Tampa Bay.
It's got to hurt.
Beautiful.
It's got to hurt, right?
Good for him. And I don't know. I guess I won't say too much more.
Fair enough. Okay, Crack, let's talk about the tournament here. There's 4 replacement teams. You got Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, and Ole Miss, just in case between now and Friday a team gets COVID. UVA and Kansas are dealing with COVID-related issues that forced them to drop out of their respective conference tournaments. But they've done everything they could do to make it to the tourney this year. There's tons of games that were canceled. Some teams finished the year playing less than 15 games, all with an eye on making it to March. And the estimates came out this week that more than 47 million Americans are expected to make a bet on the tournament for the first time ever. The tournament will take place with legal bookmakers down the street. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
you love this, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But it's interesting how those 4 standby teams are just waiting, hoping to get in. Not that they're hoping that someone gets COVID, but how else are they getting in? So I don't know. But anyway, estimates, like you said, the estimates came out. 47 million Americans looking to make a bet for the first time ever. This is going to, like you said, it's all in one area here. So this is usually the different brackets are played all around the country. It's really different. As we talked about last week, I love betting the underdogs in round 1. Some of the giant dogs that are playing the marquee teams automatically get bet. So this is where I find some value. So I've looked at this is like my wheelhouse of betting some of these first half underdogs. I've actually bet 2 and sent out 2 to the Crack Wins guys. These are the teams that are just happy to be there on these games. And they may take it through the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then the second half, you see the real depth/strength of the stronger teams, the teams that actually wear down the lower seeds over the course of 40 minutes. But those teams sometimes can hang with them. And let's face it, the public isn't betting those dogs in the first half, like Abilene for the first half, which I do like plus the 5. This team went 23-4 during the year. They hung around Texas Tech and Arkansas, and the University of Abilene, Texas. They get to play Texas, so maybe a lot of these guys, the dream was to be on the University of Texas, and now they get to face them. They're going to be pumped up, out of their minds for this type of a game. So
that's a great point.
It's a real good angle to look at that. A lot of people don't go that deep. And to look. So for your brackets in general, it's good to pick some of these upsets early on. But remember, when getting to your Final Fours, championship games, it's okay to go with the chalk. The lower seeds may sneak up in the later rounds, but the Final Four is usually comprised of the 1 to 3 seeds. So remember, this year is totally different too, though. So than any other year, usually some teams have a disadvantage of traveling across the country to play. This season, every game is being played in Indy. So travel and fans, 25% capacity. It won't be a big factor this year. So the interesting going-ons, as I've talked about on some other shows too, the UVA versus Ohio, the game opened up 10.5. It's now down to 7. The UVA has some COVID issues. So if they pass, they won't be able to fly to Indy until Friday, no practice. It hasn't even been revealed which player or players have tested positive. If it's one of their 3 main stars, this line can go down even further. So, and also very important, just remember, I know it's March Madness. Everyone's all pumped up to bet. But bet with your head here, not over it. Don't get caught up in all the hype and craziness of the March Madness. It's the time of the year to have fun, and your primary goals should be making money. I know every the games are broadcast on TV. And you don't need to just bet a game because it's on TV. I'm a broken record. I'm sorry.
No, I love that broken record, and that's saved me a lot of money. That you don't, I've actually applied that with the UFC. I'm a huge UFC fan, and I used to have to, pick every fight. You don't have to pick every fight on a card. Just 12 fights on a card, 10 fights on a card. You don't have to pick them all. Yeah.
All right.
Listen, sports fans and degenerate gamblers alike, like myself, I've got to tell you, as I do every week, if you guys haven't already hit up WSN.com, you're losing money. Seriously, this is the site for guys like Bill, even guys like me who just love the action. They got the promos, the bonuses, all the great strategy guys, info on the different state betting laws. Check out WSN.com. Bill, I know you've got thoughts on WSN.com.
Of course. Great articles are up right now. I just looked at it this morning. So for sure. One of the really cool things I like about doing this show, I get to promote a site that I actually look at every week. So WSN is a gold mine for advantage gamblers. It's got everything. Not only those articles, the links, the promos for all your best online sports books. Some of these bonuses they have running, there's nothing like them anywhere else. So if you haven't already checked them out, make sure you go to WSN.com.
Now, listen, Crack, I need to tell the people something. People, listen to me. Part 2 of that parlay, the second leg of that parlay, is downloading the Crack Wins app. If you don't even want to download the app, you can just go to crackwins.com, or you can get the app on Apple. It's available on Google. All of the winning information, all of the picks, it's in the app. Am I right, Crack?
Yes, absolutely. We've coming off a great season again, great college basketball season. Not only that, though, we got the golf, we got the NBA, baseball coming up, conference tournaments are just passed by. So now it's the real time, March Madness. So the second half, like I said, of the NBA coming up. But traditionally, I do very well in postseason tournaments, as we discussed earlier. So the time right now is to sign up for that March Madness. And also, we have the bracket contest. So we're giving away free memberships. So you can log on to bracket.crackwins.com. Of course, go to crackwins.com or Crackwins app. Absolutely.
And also with baseball right around the corner, that's a lot of action on a daily basis for everybody, right? I mean, you're always saying opportunities. You need more opportunities, and baseball absolutely brings that, does it not?
Absolutely. Baseball's fun. I'm going to be doing a lot of first fives this year too. So because who knows what's going to happen here with this baseball season? We got only a small portion last year of the season. Half a season. So we look forward to this year too.
Yeah. But, to key it back to March Madness, the brackets are on crackwins.com. Log on to bracket.crackwins.com. It's free to enter. First prize is 3 months free premium subscription. Second prize is 2 months, and they pay all the way down to 20th place. You can come in 20th. You don't have to be number one. You can come in 20th and still get a lot of value. So go to the website and enter now. The deadline is this Thursday at midnight, I believe. Right, Crack?
Yeah, I think we even could sign up. People can sign up until Friday. Up until game time.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, we sat down with a legend a little earlier today, and let's show the people who we were with.
Let's do it.
Okay, Crack, tournament buzz is in the air. I am excited as you are for today's show and today's guest, a huge college basketball guy, St. John's alum, the Sultan of Sports Trivia, spent over 20 years at ESPN. You know him from ESPN's Stump the Schwab. He's a contributor to Dick Vitale's book, The Lost Season. Welcome back to Wise Kracks, Mr. Howie Schwab.
Good to be with you guys, John, Billy. Always fun. What a great time of year. Basketball's here. And the big dance. And last year we didn't have it. So this year it's even more special.
Yeah, you mentioned that last year we didn't have it. Can before we look at this year, take us back to last year when you heard that they were canceling March Madness. What was that moment like for you? And did you think we would get here this year?
Well, first of all, last year the season ended at halftime of the St. John's Creighton game. And St. John's is my alma mater. And of course I was watching, and St. John's was ahead. And then they said, game's over, and all the conferences are canceling their tournaments. And we're like, what? And there goes the big dance, and there goes everything. And at first it was shocking, and then it was like, this pandemic is real. Okay, we get it. And it was disappointing, but it was reality. And America's gone through a lot. And now, fortunately, we think we're in good shape. But then again, Virginia and Kansas got knocked out of their conference tournaments. North Carolina A&T got knocked out of theirs. Virginia and Kansas are in the big dance, but hopefully they're there. I mean, we still don't know for sure. Virginia is not flying to Indianapolis to play until Friday for their Saturday game. They're not practicing until Thursday. So it's a tough challenge. And they're playing Ohio U, which is not going to be easy either. So, but you know what? Right now we have a bracket. Right now we have a 68-team field. We have Michigan State, UCLA amongst the first day, an out-bracket game in effect, or play-in game, you want to call it. And it's just going to be a fun time because this is still a wide-open tournament. I know a lot of people think Gonzaga is a lock or one of the Big Ten teams, but remember back a few years ago, it was a 7th seed UConn against an 8th seed Kentucky in the final. You never know.
It's funny you say that, Howie. One, I was on a Sirius radio program last year on that Thursday, St. John's on the court, halftime game canceled during the conference tournaments. So I remember that day. It was like the shot heard around the world. Two, you're absolutely right about that Virginia game. And the odds bettors, the guys that are betting the sport, I'm going to say this, the sharper guys, they kind of agree with you there. That game opened up 10.5. It's down to 7 now. Everyone taking Ohio U, little team from a little town in Ohio there it's the southeastern coast. Everyone forgets about Akron. No, they're not Akron. They're Athens, Ohio. And the third thing you said, very important there too. I can't believe the odds this year on Gonzaga. I don't remember a favorite like this. I actually see some places that they're literally, you could take 1.5 to 1. So you're betting against all the other teams 1.5 to 1. I haven't seen a favorite that low in a long time. So good points there.
I will say this about Gonzaga. They get a break in that in their bracket, the top 3 seeds besides them, you have Iowa, you have Kansas, and you have Virginia, 2, 3, 4. They beat all 3 of those teams easily during the regular season, and they have a shot at playing them again. So I think Gonzaga is a clear-cut favorite. They're undefeated. They've beaten quality non-league teams. They rolled through their league. Really one test only. The BYU game at the end of the season in the WCC final, they were down at half. And then they came out and blew them out. So when you have 3 All-Americans on the court, basically Kispert, Timmy, and Suggs are all pretty much All-Americans. I mean, and Mark Few, certainly a veteran coach who's been in the Final Four before. Gonzaga is the favorite. There's no question. But favorites have lost before. Go ask Kentucky a few years ago when they were undefeated and Wisconsin beat them. So
there you go.
It's going to be fun.
John, what do you got?
Howie, with no fans outside of family at these games, how different do you think that's going to feel for the teams? And do you think that's going to have an effect on the outcome of a lot of those games not being able to feed off of like a major hometown crowd or things of that nature?
I think it helps the underdogs. I think the underdogs don't feel the same pressure. Yeah, they know it's an NCAA tournament game, but it's being played in a gym that there's a small crowd, so they're used to that in some cases. So I don't think that that's going to be easy for the favorites to get the same momentum that they get from the inspiration of a big crowd, the way like Kentucky used to at Rupp or Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Now you're playing in front of hundreds of people, maybe a few thousand. So I think the underdogs can maybe benefit from that a little bit. But the bottom line is talent rises to the top.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see a lot of favorites by the end of this tournament. Early on, you'll see a few upsets, but by the end, you're going to see a lot of the favorites. And
that's my wheelhouse, Howie. I like going underdogs early, and you can actually bet those favorites when you get down to the 8-4 and the championship games. So that's interesting. But I want to go back.
I think you're going to see 1s and 2s in the final, to be honest.
Yep. I want to go back just to finish up something. I have a little question for you about Gonzaga. So I know you're around Mr. College basketball over there, Dickie V. As a matter of fact, are you at his house today?
I am.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you're at his house today. Good. So let me ask you now, Gonzaga being this big favorite, if I asked you, do you think this is their year, or would you take that field against Gonzaga, or would you take Gonzaga taking the 1.5 to 1?
I picked Gonzaga before the season. I knew what they had coming back, and they even lost Petrusev, who's one of their best players. I felt all along they were going to be really solid. And then right before the start of the season, they ended Andrew Nebhart, a transfer from Florida, who's a good player as well. So their depth, their talent. I mean, they can score inside with Timmy. They can score outside with Kispert. Suggs is a great distributor, great passer, great athlete. I think they're the clear-cut favorite, and I think they're going to pull Bobby Knight, 32-0, like Indiana did in '76, last undefeated team to win a title. I think this year they do it too.
Wow, and you had them before the season? You picked them?
Yes, I did.
So you had decent odds. I mean, just that as recent as like a month ago, you could have got 3.5 to 1 on Gonzaga. So now they're down to plus 150. So as usual,
I think that's because the Big Ten teams were looking so good for a while.
Yes.
But when Michigan slipped a little bit and Illinois and Ohio State lost a little bit, all of a sudden then Gonzaga shot back up, and the way they blew out teams and some good teams. The WCC had some good teams this year, but they handled it pretty easily.
Howie, how much work do you put in terms of like research and stuff? Is this like, are you putting in hours upon hours every week with all these?
Yeah. I watch a ton of games. I research injuries. I research, going into the tournament, some of these teams that people haven't seen. Like I saw Ohio U. Ohio U has a young man named Jason Preston, 6'4" guard. Last 2 games of the MAC tournament, he totaled 49 points. He was great. And that was not easy because they played tough competition. Ohio U is going to give Virginia a game. Will they win? I'm not so sure. But Virginia, given their troubles with the COVID, I'd be a little concerned.
Cool. Howie, what about the Big East? You're that's one of your divisions, I would think. What do you think about what just happened there? I mean, would you ever think Georgetown would well, of course, most people wouldn't think Villanova would lose, but did you ever think Georgetown would have won it all?
I was concerned about Villanova once Colin Gillespie got hurt.
Yeah, the 2 big guys, right?
Jay Wright is a great coach, and I think somehow they're going to sneak by Winthrop. That's going to be a tough game. And then I have them losing to Purdue. But what happened with Georgetown is unbelievable. Georgetown was picked last in the Big East Conference in the preseason.
Last.
Oregon State was picked last in the Pac-12 in the preseason. They both win the conference tournaments and bump out a couple of bubble teams. Amazing.
I was happy for Patrick Ewing, though.
I was too. Because he's got a lot of kids. I mean, people forget he lost McClung, who's now the star at Texas Tech. He was at Georgetown, and he was a very good player, and he left. Akinjo, another player who's at Arizona, was a very good player. He left. So he's lost some talent. They've improved up front big time, and I think that's important. And I actually like Georgetown to upset Colorado.
Do you really? Wow.
Well, everyone talks about 5-12 games. And so there's a 5-12. Georgetown playing so well, so physical. And actually, Harris in the backcourt has been very good lately. I'm going to go with Georgetown to beat them.
Wow.
But, yeah, it's a shock that Georgetown's in this field.
Five and a half, 6-point underdog there.
Yep. Yeah. And then as far as the other Big East teams, I think Creighton could get a couple of games in. It was shocking how badly they got blown out in the Big East final. But hopefully they wake up and realize they're a veteran team. They have a lot of different scorers. They've gone through a lot with the McDermott situation, but I think Creighton has a shot to get maybe 2 wins and then lose to Gonzaga.
I leaned to Creighton in the first game. I think they're laying about 7.5, something like that. Yeah.
And then UConn, I think, can win a game. I think they probably lose to Alabama, but the Maryland UConn game's a toss-up to me because which Maryland shows up? The one that beat Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament, or the one that at times looked terrible this year? So it's Connecticut. It's very simple. Book night. He has a big game, they win.
Yep, I actually thought they were going to win their last game versus Creighton. Book night was like I heard he was questionable for that game. So there's one player, of course, I know started a team, and I watched the end of that game. I was actually rooting for Connecticut in that game, but I love the Big East. I don't know, maybe because I'm an East Coast guy, or maybe because I think of you. But
there you go. Well,
anyway,
St. John's lost to Seton Hall, and then didn't go to the NIT, and oh well.
Yep.
My alma mater. Yay. Next year.
John?
Yeah, so, we don't want to let you go here, Howie, without getting into a little trivia. So we've got the Wise Kracks' own version of Stump the Schwab, if that's okay with you. Can we take a crack at you here?
Let's do it.
All right. I'll go easy on you. I'm going to start easy. I'll let Crack really, let's just get your feet wet with this one. Who is the lowest seed to make the Final Four?
Like ever?
Lowest seed to make the Final Four are 11 seeds. Loyola Chicago and LSU.
11 seeds.
Oh, wait. Let me think about that. Hold on. Wait.
LSU.
No, wait.
You're on the right track.
Okay. George Mason was an 11 also.
That's amazing.
This is like 3 or 4, but I'm pretty sure it's an 11. I don't think
they were the 11 seeds.
The 14th seed got to the Sweet 16. That was Florida Gulf Coast. They beat Georgetown.
11 seeds. There's one more. LSU in 86, George Mason 2006, and in 2011 there was one.
Oh yeah, the BCU.
Yep.
BCU.
Wow.
BCU just behind Butler. Yeah. That's great.
All right, here we go.
Bill, you're up.
All right. 29 of the last.
That was easy.
That was easy.
For a man of your stature, yes.
Oh, God. Okay. Well,
it's funny, Howie, when John said that, I was like, that was not easy. Before. Yeah.
Thank you, Billy.
All right. Here we go. 29 of the last 31 champs were 1, 2, or 3 seed. Can you name
Arizona? Arizona was one. I was there. Arizona beat 3 number 1 seeds to get to win the whole thing. They beat Kansas, Arizona. They beat Kentucky, and they beat Carolina. They beat Kentucky in the final. And that night at 3 a.m, I saw Miles Simon at a Steak and Shake. That's another story.
Oh, wow. You were there? You were at the game that night?
I was, yes.
Cool.
I think it was in Indianapolis, if I remember right. But
wow.
It was, Kentucky, Arizona was the final. Arizona was a 4 seed.
And how about the other one?
How many years did you say?
There's 2 teams outside of the 1, 2, or 3 since 1990 to win it all.
Since 1990. Okay.
Yeah. So Arizona was 1997.
Because I was jumping ahead. 88 was Kansas. 85 was Villanova, and 80.
We're going to go the other way.
State
Recently.
Oh, it's more recent.
It's 1990.
Oh God! What before 4 or lower? Oh man, Arizona. That one I figured.
Arizona in 97, and then the other one's in 2014.
Oh, hello! I mentioned it earlier. Kentucky, Connecticut.
You mentioned it. You did. Oh. Yes. Yeah, you did.
Sometimes you have to think. Oh,
no,
man.
You do. Good. You got it. We got a bonus question in here. Oh yeah. Oh no. What was the respective seeds of Arizona? Do you know what Arizona was?
Arizona was 4 or 5. I think there were
4 is correct. Right. What about UConn?
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you said it. You said it before. 7 and 8. Oh man. Wow, Howie. You're
I
the
was
best.
there too.
Oh, were you at that game too? Were you living in Connecticut back then? But the game wasn't in Connecticut though.
No. I was there though. Yes, I was at the Final Four for a lot of years, and then
wow,
I have not gone the last couple of years, and that's fine.
Wow, that's awesome though. Fine. So what about some games you're looking forward to? Like, all right, so you said 1s or 2s. What do you think if you had to predict a Final Four right now, which I don't know if you've been asked before, and I hate to put you on the spot. What do you think? Like you said, your upsets early on, but the actual Final Four, obviously Gonzaga.
I filled out my bracket already.
Oh, good. There it is.
I've already entered several pools just for the
All right. What do you got for Final Four?
Final Four. Gonzaga. Oh, there's a shock. Yep. I'm going with Alabama over Michigan in the East.
Okay.
Alabama's a very athletic team. Great shooting the three, relies on the three. The only thing that scares me is they rely too much on the three. Because if they have a bad night shooting the three, I remember earlier this year against Clemson, they made 3 out of 22, I think it was.
Ooh.
And they got beat. So that scares me a little. Michigan might have been my pick if Livers was healthy. But with him questionable to doubtful, I think that's a big factor. Losing the chemistry, losing a good scorer. But Juwan Howard's done a great job. We'll see what happens. I have Baylor beating Ohio State, and I really wrestled with that one because I like Ohio State a lot. I love the job that they've done. Liddell is real solid up front. But I'm going to stick with Baylor. I think defensively, they can really pressure teams. They were doing great. They were, I think, 17-0, and then the COVID thing. And then they were not the same team. They almost lost to Iowa State, who was winless in the Big 12. They got beat a couple of times. But now I think they've had time to regroup, and Scott Drew will have them together and Baylor to the Final Four. And the other one is Illinois. Yes. I think Illinois' bracket is interesting because the bottom half of that bracket with West Virginia, Houston, I don't think that's as hard as having Alabama, for example, or Iowa, or Ohio State. So I think they're lucky in a way with their bracket, Illinois. I know some people will say the Loyola Chicago Georgia Tech winner will give them a game. Maybe a game, but Illinois, I think, will get by that. And I think Illinois has got a reasonably easy way to get to the Final Four. Some people may say Oklahoma State or Tennessee will give them a game. Probably give them a game, but I like what Illinois is doing, and I'll give you one key for Illinois. Most people will say Dosunmu, the star guard, or Coburn, the big center, who's a beast up front. I'll say Andre Curbelo, the freshman guard, has come in and really improved and stepped up his game, and he will be a huge factor. So I think Brad Underwood and company to the Final Four as well.
Wow. I say yes about that because I have a really good future that I found on Illinois to win it all. And I'm banking on that. If they can get to the Final Four there and get to the championship game, I may even hedge. That's how big of a bet I have.
There you go.
So,
well, I have Gonzaga beating Illinois in the finals. So
yeah, well, I hope it gets there. Yeah. Oh, good. So isn't that great, John? Isn't that great? You and I are sitting here, and even I, professional sports bettor, I don't know some of these names. I don't know a freshman guy on Illinois. But I don't have to know my business. I'm just betting. But Howie knows all these guys. He watches all these guys, and for our public at home, there's some great information there on the Final Four. So thank you for that, Howie. Was it last year? Weren't you setting up? You told me you and Vital were doing something last year.
We were getting ready. What happened was once the season got canceled, Dick Weiss, Dick Vital, and I talked. Boy, wouldn't it be great to just write about this because it'd be cathartic in a way. And we just went crazy, and the book came out and was great. And you can get the book, by the way. Dick Vitale.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that right now.
And all the money goes
the Lost Season, right?
Charity. The Lost Season.
Okay.
And
wherever books are sold, is that right? Is that Amazon?
Well, it's online. Amazon, but it's online, dickvitaleonline.com, and the money goes to the B Foundation.
That is a genius idea, by the way. That really was. That's a cool idea.
It was a lot of fun to work on. And to be honest, Dick ended up picking Florida State to win the mythical national title. We did a breakdown of every game of the tournament as if the tournament was played.
Oh, that's so fun.
In there, and it's a lot of fun.
That's so fun. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. Not only you're one of my best friends, but you're a mentor to so many. You don't realize it. You helped out a lot of people at ESPN over the years, and then they finally rewarded you with your own show. And I know what your feelings are now. We won't get into all that.
No, but, it's okay. Hey, life is good. I'm happily married. Life is good. I live in Florida. Life wonderful. Is good.
I've been down to his house there. I had a couple of I had your Emmys in my hand.
Yeah.
So really good. Well, great stuff. Appreciate you having on, and look forward to having you on again.
Billy. Come on down, John, anytime you want. It's all good.
Careful, because I will show up. I will show up, Howie. If you give me an invite, I show up. Ask Bill. He'll tell you.
Yeah. John will show up with his dad and say, where are we sleeping?
Hey, we have a little room. We'll figure it out.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Howie.
My pleasure, guys. Enjoy the tournament. Watch out for Abilene Christian. There's my sleeper.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Oh, did we talk about that real quick before we go off? Abilene, I actually like them myself. You like them in the first couple games, you said, right, Howie?
I think they're going to be a challenge because, number one, they're a very good defensive team. They hold opponents just over 60 points a game. They're one of the leaders in the country in steals. They're one of the leaders in the country in assists, which shows me that they know how to play. And I'll tell you what, that league has scored a couple upsets in the past. I think Abilene Christian is going to give Texas a real tough time. Texas worked so hard to win the Big 12 tournament, even though they had one game canceled, the Kansas game. Now to have to play Abilene Christian, this is a game that I don't think people are looking at very carefully. I think Abilene Christian could score. I have them going 2 rounds in my bracket. Every year you get somebody that shocks somebody, and Abilene Christian's mine. I'm going out.
I actually bet them yesterday, first half, +5. But now you're actually going to make me bet them for the game, too. And maybe even throw a little peanut bet on that money line, hoping you're right. So thank you.
Well, when I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll get a phone call.
Thanks for coming on, Howie.
I'll tell you one other sleeper. I think Virginia Tech beats Florida. I think Georgia Tech beats Loyola Chicago. I think Rutgers beats Clemson. I think there'll be a few first-round surprises.
Cool.
Or seed-wise surprises.
Sure.
But at the end, my final 4, 1s and 2s.
Awesome. Great job, Howie. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Wow, Crack, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I got to admit, that just got me pumped up, and I feel like the Schwab gave out a handful of dogs there that I think I'm going to have to go.
Not bet those Schwab games. Yeah, good stuff. Loved it.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, another week has come and gone. Time seems to fly by with you every week. And I can't wait for next week's show with the great poker legend, Daniel Negreanu. Crack, I will see you next week, and we will see you guys next week on Wise Kracks.